Fortunate for me, I had glimpses from childhood and all through my life about the fact that there were other dimensions, that there were other realities, etc., but not getting any support in this world that there are available energies and essences that perhaps aren't visible to most people or that we're aware of, because if we go usually through many, not all, but many religious modes, we're taught that, you just do the best you can here, and on the other side somewhere there's some tools and things that'll make it all better. Well, the agreement with myself was that I wasn't willing to go to the other side yet, so I realized that wasn't even available at this point. So, I just had to surrender to the fact that I had to really just go within. And that was, really interesting. It's like, go within, what does that mean? Well, how do you do that, et cetera? And I had a dear friend that really offered me multiple keys to really start doing that. And these were the laws that govern the universe. Now, most of us are aware that we have a man-made judicial system here in this country, and all countries have established for themselves. We understand that it has lots of problems and that many times it doesn't appear that it's equitable in its decision-making capacity. But these laws, when it was introduced to me, it was really phenomenal. The fact that there were laws that actually govern the earth. And from a scientific perspective, we know that there's some energy that keeps the earth spinning on its axis and floating in space, and for whatever reason the sun doesn't come crashing into the earth and we don't crash into Mars. But most of us are not even thinking about this from this perspective. But these laws that were introduced to me, it was made clear that it's not a person that comes with a black robe, or sometimes they're portrayed as the reaper that comes through, that they are actual energies. And the more I began to really look at this from a scientific basis, I began to realize that everything is energy. Everything is energy, and this is a very interesting dimension here, because this dimension, even of itself, is not solid. It's very exciting to realize that some of the most scientific literature is being revealed that for us to even recognize and to want to think that we are actually solid, that this table is solid, that this is actually a solid overhead projector. We are only conscious 7/10 of every second. So we're not even aware of time in its completeness for us to assume that everything is solid. And I thought that was really fantastic, because when they talk about establishing alpha waves and beta waves from the brain, what they're really saying to us is that depending upon your capacity to be conscious, some of the time, most of the time, all of the time, determines your reality and your capacity to interact with different levels of energy. So when I began to grasp that, then that began to make sense to me. This is the whole reason why most people can't see microwaves, because these light frequencies, because everything is light, is vibrating so fast that to you, you can't capture it and process it in your mind to know that it exists. Microwave is here all the time. And so what happens is that the little black box known as a microwave oven or stove slows down the frequency of that particular aspect of light to the extent and controls it that you can get the effect of it and see the end result of what it does. But you still are not able to necessarily interact with it independent of this box. The same thing with TV waves. They're nothing more than actually frequencies of energy. Radio waves are the same thing. And when I began to look at this, I thought this was very interesting, because I remember when I was doing my psych rotation, and many times in the psych ward, these people were actually animately talking to people. They could tell you names, histories, everything, et cetera. And if you just looked at their body, it's like, there's nobody there. But they had a whole rendition of things. And it was interesting, because some of the things that they were getting were actually true. Some people were actually predicting the future when they weren't sedated. Things that people were hearing. I thought it was very interesting. It was like, are these people having ruminations or whatever? But what we've come to find out is that everybody's brain is not functioning at the same capacity. That is to say that different people's brains have the capacity to interact with other energies at different rates. So when we talk about energies, it's important for us to begin to understand that everything that we do is an energetic interaction. So we really realize that. We talk about the fact that there's something known as vibes, with bad vibes. So what you're saying is that where your energy frequencies were versus the energy frequencies that were being emitted from whatever that object was, a person, a plant, that they were not of the same vibration. And see, that's incredible when you really think of it, because what that says is this, is that if you understand that everything is just a matter of being able to alter your rate of vibration, your state of thinking, that there's nothing outside of you that you can't merge with and integrate with and allow yourself to have interaction with and master. Because it's not as though, you're having an issue with a solid wall. See, this is the key that people forget. It's not as though you're having an issue with a solid wall or having an issue with a part of your body that you can't get to, or having an issue with an object or something that you don't know about. You do. Okay? Okay. Can everybody hear me? Yeah. Now this one's working. So, let's just think about this for a minute now. Let's do kind of like an open eye, just inward thought meditation. Okay. And let's just think about an issue that you had just recently, last 24 hours, where there was what appeared to be resistance. Whether it was interaction with the person, whether there was an object that was broken and you couldn't get it to work, you couldn't get it fixed, whether it was actually a situation that you wanted to go one way and it went an opposite way. What was really the issue that you can identify that did not allow you to master that? How did you see that? Was it because you just felt that you were totally out of control? Period. I deal with some people, and as soon as they hear the word no, they immediately sit down. Not understanding what? Is that because everything is energy, if one object is unwilling to actually be resilient to you, you have many, many other molecules and atoms that will come under your dominion. Okay, so one no just only says that that molecule was not willing to vibrate with you. But what about all the trillions, sextillions of others? Okay, was it because you were unwilling to actually switch your perception and move into the other person's side and take a look from where they're standing, which is actually what we call a form of transportation or teleportation, where you can do that. Many times not until we unfortunately get into the same person's shoes can we then see from the other person's side. You can do that anytime, all the time, but you have to be willing to switch your consciousness to do that, which is an energy frequency. So when we deal with things, for example, like hopelessness, or when we want to deal with lower vibrations of hate, resentment, anger, etc., what these do is they actually disconnect the brain from being able to tune into all of its channels to change your frequency so that you can integrate and then master what it is that you want to do. And that's very heavy. It's all about energy. So it's nothing that you have to do outside of yourself. It's outside of yourself. It's something that you have to go within and do. Now, something that's very interesting that we're finding out is that the actual genetic makeup, and I just want to put some slides up here on the transparency on the machine here. It's very heavy. I don't know if many of you saw that movie Total Recall and Lawnmower Man. I like going to see those things because they're scientific. Okay, a little adjustment. Where is the little knob? Oh, here we go. Ta-da. Okay. Now, for those of you who might be thinking that this is a little kid practicing making X's,
It is not. These are chromosomes. And these are very interesting because these chromosomes contain billions and billions and billions and billions of points of light vibration. These are actually holograms. Okay? So in the movie they talked about, they did some things with holograms there where they were actually able to project the light image of an individual so that if you didn't pay very close attention, you thought the person was someplace where you know that they weren't, but they were actually there. We are actually all holograms ourselves, and the key to the capacity of the images, the key to the capacity for us to vibrate with other objects in our environment are all held within our genetic code, our makeup. So if you can remember that each and every one of you is actually a frequency of energy, a being of light, okay?